Hey guys, this is Karina with Shutter Heart Photography. So now I'm gearing up for spring sessions, and as I am thinking of ideas and trying to figure out what I'm going to do and stuff, I had a beautiful idea to do a session to launch my spring announcement with my daughter Gianni downtown Austin. So we decided to go to this gelato place off of 38th Street and then do it from there. No such thing, because if you show up at a gelato place after 10 in the morning, there's way too many people walking their dogs, doing homework, conducting interviews in the patio, and I was the only awkward photographer in the place. So I picked up my gear and I left the premises. I did. So at this point, I'm running out of battery. That's what's going on. Just a minute. So, I'm back. So short of canceling the session and trying to you always have to try to figure out what's the best, the next best thing. As a photographer, you're going out there with your clients, you're going out there with your kids or whatever, and you have to pretty much either, if you're going to go to a public place in Austin, Texas on a Saturday, you better be before 10 o'clock. So it must be a mistake that I made, thinking that, I don't know what I was thinking, but I thought, okay, I'll just go have breakfast and dinner in the morning, go to the egg and I, and then we'll just slip over to the gelato place. It's not gonna happen. You have to show up to those places way before 10 o'clock. The problem is they don't open until 10 o'clock. So I showed up, I think at 11:30 or so. It's not gonna happen. That's just, anyway. So yesterday I was thinking, okay, well, what really makes a good session? What is the structure that one should follow for a session? Okay, so I came up with 5 points. Number one is the theme, obviously, and then we're in the spring. Once you have the theme in your head, then you need to think about the colors that you want to use. So of course, spring is pastel colors and things like that. I didn't really want to use pastel colors. I like stripes, even though it makes me look a little whiter on camera, but I like stripes generally. Then you look at pattern. Well, this is the patterns. You look at patterns, and then you move on to props. On the prop idea, I'm gonna be very honest with you. I'm a makeup junkie. I'm not a prop junkie. Number one, because I have very limited space, and number two, I am kind of OCD because I don't like to repeat props. So a lot of my clients, especially in my A-list, I just tell either my friends or my sister, if I'm doing a session or whatever, I haven't really done that with my sister, but I usually have them use their own props, either their books or I've done sessions with for back to school. They use their backpacks and things like that. I like to use my clients' props. Number one, because those you don't really have to spend money on that. But number two, I don't like to repeat props. I really don't. I don't know what it is. Just don't like to repeat props. So, and if you think of a place to do your session at, then you can use the props there. Ice cream cones, cookies, or a piece of cake, something like that, or things that are edible too, like cupcakes and things like that. That's more for me. It's easier to do than just buying props and buying props and buying props, and then you end up with all this stuff, and then it's kind of hard to keep all that stuff. So I've just kind of use other people's props. Then the location. Well, if you're gonna do a spring session like I did, I wanted to do it at a gelato place, and obviously the location would be great. The problem with that is that the patio that was there wasn't really lending itself to a nice session. So now you know. And so the number one mistake that I made is, okay, I had an idea of how the location looked like, but they remodeled it. So I made the mistake of showing up without knowing. I already knew, obviously I knew where the place was, but I didn't know they had gone through remodeling. So if you have this scheduled with your client, obviously drive up there 1 to 2 days before your session, or show up before your client shows up, so that you can really 1 or 2 days before, if you really want that location to work for your session. If you don't do that and you don't like how the pictures are showing up or coming up in your viewfinder, obviously a lot of photographers say you shouldn't be looking at your pictures in your viewfinder, but I cheat all the time. I do that all the time. Then you're gonna have to, if you don't like how everything's turning out, then you're gonna have to go on to the next location and just make the best of it. And then obviously the gear. I shoot with my 85mm. I have a Sigma 85 1.4, and I shoot with Canon. I have a Mark III. I'm a Canon girl all the way. I started with Canon, so it's easier for me. It's easier for me to go in the settings and figure out what to do and what to change and things like that. I don't like to change to Nikon because I started with Canon. So moving to Nikon would be kind of like another language to me, to try to figure out where the settings are, you know, and all that. So I just stick with Canon. I brought a tripod for the shoot, but I ended up not needing it. So those are pretty much the five things that I'm finding out that is like the skeleton of the session more than anything else. So it's theme, the patterns you're going to use, the props you're going to use, the location you're going to be at, and the gear. Also, the patterns, I'm funny about patterns because I like to bring them in, I like to bring at least a print and then solids. I like to incorporate prints with solids, and I can tell you that if you use all solids in your, if it's all solids and all the same color, it's going to look horrible. You don't want to do that. You want to do, because you want the eye naturally goes to a pattern. It goes to a print. So use prints and use patterns that kind of mesh each other. I don't like to use more than 2 prints. Like I had this striped top with this orange necklace, and my daughter had the same white jeans that I'm wearing, but she was wearing an orange lace pattern. So you kind of bring it all in together with accessories and the colors and stuff. That's how I'm trying to kind of look at that. So it didn't work out, and we had to go to another location down on Cesar Chavez. It worked great. See for yourself. Okay, turn around. That's gonna be super cute. Turn around. I'm scared. Turn around.
Yeah! I did it.
You did it?
Yeah.
This way. Now we take a picture. Now who takes a picture? I give up. I can't do this anymore.
This is weird.
Who's gonna take the picture?
Just press the button.
Oh my god.
Go press the button.
Huh?
Go press the button. Go press the button.
But I won't be in the picture.
Sorry.
No, press the red button.
Okay, hold on.
10 seconds.
There's many people for me. Oh, is it time? Oh, it's fine. No, you're fine. Okay. See what I mean? Nothing that I did today really lent itself to a successful shoot, and it happens to a lot of us. And a lot of that, it's really, I want to say, there's just rookie mistakes that you know, you feel so confident in your work, you feel so confident in your skill, but those little details here and there that really get you. You know, visiting the location you have in your mind. I had no idea they had remodeled the Teos on 38th Street, the gelato place. You know, and then, you know, I show up at Cesar Chavez's town lake, and everybody and their dog literally is jogging at that place. It's just a disaster. So I did take some pictures there, like this one. And that one. Or that one. I mean, they're good pictures, but for some reason, I just couldn't get myself more motivated about the pictures that I was taking. I have to apologize, the lighting outside is actually changing, and so if it looks a little bit different, or if the lighting is getting dimmed a little bit, it's because I'm in front of a window. But anyway, see what I mean? So at some point you have to just stick with what you know, and even that doesn't work sometimes. So that was the session for today. A failed session. Sometimes it works that way. Anyway, I have a couple of announcements. There's a conference coming up called School of Photography. If you're a mom photographer and you live in the Austin, Texas area, there's going to be a conference on Tuesday, March the 7th at Star Hill Ranch on Hamilton Pool Road. It starts at 5 o'clock through 9:30. The seats are limited, so I'll go ahead and put the link down below. I'm going to that session. It's one of the best photographers in Austin, and Houston's coming down to do this session. She's amazing, and she's nationally published, and she does beautiful work in the Houston area. So I'm going to go ahead and go to that. I will link in the event down below. If you need to know what I'm wearing on my face, again, I will go ahead and link everything down below for what I'm wearing, and also for what I'm wearing on my face and wearing in my clothing. I will put it down below. Also, I did not get to read this week my book, Buzz Aldrin. I just was completely out of it, but I did get to listen to some Tony Robbins videos. So also, what else did I do? That's about it. This week was kind of crazy. I wanted to tell you that one of the most incredible things that I have read in Buzz Aldrin's book was that the sky is not the limit. He opens his book up with that. The sky is not the limit. You should know he stepped foot on the moon. Anyway, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for giving me your time. Subscribe to my channel. Give this video a thumbs up if you like it. If there's anything else that you want to see, that you want me to do, any videos that you want me to do, anything else, if you're a mom photographer, a mom period, and there's something else that you want to see that you want me to do, just let me know. Either link it down below or comment down below and let me know exactly what would you want to see. Anyway, thank you so much. Have a great evening. Have a great rest of your weekend.
Boom, boom, to my dynamite, dynamite. Baby, you my ride. Like, ooh, I wanna be around you. Got me breaking all of my rules. Oh, it's all the little things that you do that got me like, ooh. When I wake up, you're the first thing that comes to mind. I wanna see you like all the time. Yeah. So hot. When I wake up, you're the first thing that comes to